Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another weekly edition of Timeout Talks, which is brought to you by Chase and Thrills Custom T-shirts and accessories. Also sponsored by Make It Mac, and also sponsored by the Ice Shaker. We are off and running, couple minutes late for you guys, but we're here. As you can see on our caption, this is what it all comes down to, Ben. It is now finally playoff time within the NFL, as they're calling it, Super Wildcard Weekend. We've got 6 great matchups for you guys. A couple on Peacock, which is kind of weird. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Might get a couple Bruins and Celtics takes. Bruins lost last night. At least we got the point. Maybe we'll talk about it. We'll see. Heavy NFL show. Ben Steelers got in. First, we're going to recap. There's so much to kind of just digest right now. Mike Vrabel's gone. That was kind of a treat for us today. We'll see what some of you Patriots fans think. Bill Belichick's still here. Arthur Smith gone. There's just plenty of stuff to talk about. Zach Saints get the win, but they still don't fall in the playoffs. Plenty of stuff to talk about. And of course, we will get you our game-by-game breakdowns. A little bit later in the show, we'll dive into every single playoff game. We'll give you our predictions. Because this is what it all comes down to, Ben. The playoffs.
Yeah, I'm excited, Josh. You said Super Wildcard Weekend. One of the best ones, I think one of the best rounds in all of the playoffs. You get everybody still around. Everyone still thinks they can get there, even though some of us know they're going to make that playoff push. I'm not just looking at us Steelers. TJ Watt going down, that's kind of a big deal for us, but I digress on that. We'll get back to that, but just excited to get into the dance. We got some great matchups, Josh. A lot of homecomings. Tyreek Hill, coming back to Kansas City. Obviously the biggest one. Josh kind of hinted at that last week. We both kind of hinted this little upset one, but Stafford coming back to Detroit. So you got a couple homecomings there. Just some interesting matchups. Stroud, the rookie sensation making it into the wild card weekend with the Colts loss. Sorry to Jose and Jeff. I know Jose's still Jose's a Chargers fan, but I still kind of group them in with the Colts. I still got to apologize to both of them. A little tough loss for them to swallow. Gotta make that catch, Josh. Gotta make that catch on that fourth down. They're gonna blame the running back on that one. Minshew gets a little blame, but you just gotta come up with that catch. But that's an interesting matchup too. Rookie quarterback going against that sensational defense, and Joe Flacco back in the playoffs again, Josh. So what are they going to do? Can he lead that Browns defense to a little Super Bowl run? We never know. And just got some great matchups all around. And obviously, Bills Steelers. Everyone's going to crap on that one, but I think that one will be a good one too. So I'm excited, Josh. I'm excited for it. I think we got some really great matchups, and let's get it going. I'm excited. Still a chance for the Steelers. Still a chance. I will think positive.
I cannot believe they somehow mustered to get in. Ben went all in with his upset of the week last week being the Titans. They were able to. They went out and won that game for their coach. Yet alone, they end up firing their coach. He won Coach of the Year 2 years ago. It's a very, very tough league. Kind of confusing too. We'll dive into that a little bit here. Here's my thing, and I've gotten so much crap on Twitter for it. I've gotten so much crap from James. All the Patriots fans are going to get on my case, but I don't get this obsession with Mike Vrabel. It's really weird. I get the whole he's a player's coach. I'll give that, but for them to just, it's really I can't wrap my head around the fact that they want to just move on from Bill Belichick, the greatest of all time, and Mike Vrabel's kind of the best option. He's going to be kind of the replacement. I don't know. The guy hasn't really done much there. His highlight moment is eliminating a very mediocre Patriots team who made the playoffs, and they won on the road, the Titans being. That's his highlight moment. Other than that organization has made some terrible decisions. They traded Byard in a pick that, I know Byard hasn't been amazing for the Eagles, but still, they've made these random signings. They went out and spent all this money on Jeffrey Simmons, who's okay. He's a solid player, but I don't I don't get it, Ben. I don't get this fascination with Mike Vrabel. I think he's a solid coach. I think he's a pretty good coach, but again, this is what we do in New England. We hype these guys like the Josh McDaniels. We hype the Bill O'Briens. We hype the Gerard Mayos. We hype all these guys, the Matt Patricias, who like all is legitimately the journeyman of all coaches within the NFL. Like now ever since he went to the Eagles, they've been a disaster. Like a complete disaster since he's been on that coaching staff. Josh McDaniels can't keep a job. I mean, talk about just an absolute indictment of Brady's success. He is the front line of that, Josh McDaniels. And Bill O'Brien hasn't been the same since, his Alabama run. So, I don't know. I could go on and on. I think Mike Vrabel coming to New England would probably be better than the Gerard Mayo. Would be a better successor to Gerard Mayo. But again, I just, this weird obsession with him is really weird. I kind of agree with Jared on this. I know he's a Buffalo Bills guy, and I'm going to get all the hate and the slack, but it's weird. I don't know. I thought it was weird that the Titans moved on from him, but at the same time, they've got a really clean house. They've made some terrible decisions. They're going to move on from Derrick Henry. I don't know, Ben. You got me ranting, but a lot to unpack. I like Vrabel, but he's not going to be like this blue chip guy who's going to come in and just change the organization for the Patriots just because he played linebacker for you guys. I don't know. It's Delusionville.
Delusionville. Seems to be where most Pats fans are living nowadays. So I like it, Josh. But no, I'm in a little agreement. I'm not too. I like Vrabel. I would think for the Patriots that would be kind of. I agree with you in that one. I would take Vrabel over Mayo as a successor. I think he just would fit in. I think both of them would fit in the system, but I think Vrabel's proven himself a little more. Like you said, yeah, that kind of the ousting of Brady from New England's kind of their big. That was their last sort of big win. The playoffs. They had the Chiefs 24-0, and they at Arrowhead too. They kind of blew that one as well. So there's a little coaching on him too. But yeah, I'm just kind of surprised they fired him. I didn't even know that was kind of on the radar for the Titans. As you mentioned, they've kind of just made terrible moves. Buyer trade, AJ Brown. Now they're obviously thinking about letting Derrick Henry go, which I think they should. Last year of his contract, they just need a clear rebuild. But I thought they would keep at least Vrabel. I thought Vrabel was doing well over there. We, just got that huge win over Jacksonville. I thought that win against Jacksonville kind of saved the season. I thought it saved his job. I'm not sure what else he was supposed to do out there. He just got to win and just be one of their biggest rivals and stop them from going to the playoffs. So I'm kind of confused at what he was supposed to do. The Titans more so. I know Josh was ranting about Vrabel. I'm just, I'm ranting about the Titans. They just stink. I don't know what the GM's doing. They probably just need to get rid of the GM. Some of these moves, Josh pointed out with the buyer, then AJ Brown, as I just mentioned.
That's the one that escaped me. It was something out there. Sorry, yeah. It was something that was terrible.
It's just these moves, and then thinking Treylon Burks is going to immediately replace him. He's a good player, but it's just you can't replace the caliber player of AJ Brown that quickly, just right off the bat. So it was just a couple questionable moves, which I didn't think were Vrabel's fault. I thought the upper management needed to get some of this done, but hey, Bill Belichick's still employed by the Patriots. You never know; he could stay. We still got, I believe, 2 years under the contract. I know we're already sort of anointing him leaving, and I think it would probably make sense for both parties too. But Bill doesn't really. He's never had a court. He's never really been given this top quarterback before. Obviously, we know Brady's story and all that, but they kind of give him Mac Jones and said, hey, this is after Brady. You got Mac Jones. And Zappy. So I don't think he's had a fair shot at that, but I'm kind of confused at where they're going to go with this, Josh, for the Patriots' sake. Right now, I think they should just be looking at hopefully the Commanders. I don't know, hopefully maybe they'll trade up, if they want one of those quarterbacks, because it's looking like the Bears might lean towards the quarterback and the Commanders take one as well. So I think the Pats got to focus on the draft right now, Josh, instead of this. Obviously, head coach too, but I think they got to focus on this draft and nailing the draft this time.
I couldn't agree with you anymore. You think of kind of the issues that the Patriots have had. It's been a lot of missed draft picks. Their defense has been great, but we've been singing this same song for the New England Patriots for the past, as you've mentioned, since Mac Jones, the Tom Brady. When Tom Brady was here that last year, it was kind of the boogeymen. That defense was kind of what carried them. But we've been singing this same song and dance, Ben. It's been the defense is great. The defense is great. Watch out when we get a good offense. And the best we've kind of seen was Mac Jones' rookie year. And then I know I keep going to this and I'm kind of beating a dead horse, but every year since then has been a regression, Ben, for the New England Patriots. And moving forward, I think, they've got that third pick. They're in a good spot. As you mentioned, they could trade up with the Commanders. Like they have a lot of things that they can do. Of course, first things first, as we've kind of talked about, they need to kind of figure out who's going to be who's going to be running the show, whether it is Bill Belichick and he stays, whether it's a new head coach, or if Bill Belichick does stay, but there's someone else helping him behind the scenes in the GM role. Like, they need to clear the air on all of that, Ben, because as you've mentioned, there's just so many questions for the Patriots. And I think you make a good point. I mean, I don't think he's had so much of a fair shot, but at the end of the day, it's been a marriage for a long time. At some point, they're gonna go their separate ways, whether he retires or he leaves and goes to join another team. It's the inevitable. I personally, I'm just gonna throw it out there now, I don't think that that's gonna happen. I think he's gonna stay. Maybe Vrabel comes in some type of coordinator role because it seems like that's kind of a match made in heaven. But then again, you don't know, Ben. I mean, I know everybody was all crazy for this Gus Johnson guy, Ben Johnson. Maybe Vrabel beats him out. I mean, there's the Washington Commanders are an open spot. You've got the Chargers. I don't know where he's going to land. The Raiders are still kind of up in the air. Maybe they re-sign Pierce there, whatever the hell his name is. But I don't know. It's going to be fun to watch, Ben, for sure. And my gut, I think they should keep Bill Belichick, keep him, and figure out the drafting. Someone might need to come in, some football guru genius come in. They can find somebody to help a little bit with the drafting. Because as you mentioned, they've missed on so many draft picks. They have to assess that. And hey, maybe Vrabel comes in and helps them draft. I don't know. They're going to do something. I personally think Bill Belichick stays. I think there could even be a chance you see Bill Belichick and Mike Vrabel coaching on the same thing. I mean, I don't know. I know a lot of people are like, what? He's going to lose. He's going to go down from a head coaching job to then do that, but maybe he's the successor, kind of like what we thought of Josh McDaniels in the past. Also, his name's being floated around as a potential reunion. I don't know.
And I don't like that one.
I'm kind of throwing everything at the wall, but I mean, I kind of like that Vrabel and Belichick. Maybe Vrabel comes in and he helps in some coordinating role, and then once Bill Belichick's ready to move on, because I mean, the guy's pushing 80. I'm not trying to talk on his age, but I mean, at some point you're going to have to move forward, Ben. I don't know. I mean, they need to figure that out first before they figure out their draft needs. But they're in a good spot, Ben. They lost last week, and they've got a top 5 draft pick.
That was a tough loss. It's a tough loss against the Jets. I enjoyed that one. I enjoyed watching that one. Snowball, obviously, but yeah, Brees Hall running crazy. I think just the key word in there, Josh, they just got to nail this draft. So I kind of agree with that one too. Let's just keep Bill around. Like you said, pushing 80. He's not gonna be around forever. Let's bring let's bring Vrabel in. He can sort of be just under the wing for a couple of years, and like I said, his contract's up in 2 years, and Vrabel takes over. If you want this sort of perfect fairy tale, Bill gets to pick the quarterback successor, and Vrabel gets to still be around in there. So it's not a complete change for the rookie quarterback, whoever it is. I know everyone thinks it's either Williams or May, but I mean, hey, the Patriots could make a splash move, get these Jaden Daniels at 3, or I'm not, I know Jimmy said, he wasn't, he doesn't want to see a trade back. Any trade backs would be frowned upon with this team, but I mean, I think if they go, trade back to like a 9 or a 10, they maybe draft like a Micah Penix, or, there's a couple other people over there interesting. I wouldn't be too upset with that either. So, but they can't trade back too far. And if they don't, they got to draft Harrison. They can't draft an offensive tackle. I would like them to. That would be, a little good move for them. They need to beef up that offensive line, but they just they need a playmaker, Josh. They need something to put people in the stands. And Marvin Harrison does that for them. So if they get the chance, they gotta go get somebody. They gotta go get a playmaker. Go get Harrison. If he's there, if you don't want Jaden Daniels. So it's either Jaden Daniels or Harrison, or trade back and I think you get the Penix kid. I know he didn't look too good last night, but that offensive line stunk last night, Josh. The offensive line, listen, I did have Washington. I did a little money on Washington, but I mean some questionable calls. But Michigan just dominated. Michigan deserved to be that champ. So I think Penix just unfortunately got a little banged up too in that game. Got rolled up on his ankle pretty early. So just kind of a rough overall performance. Playing low injured. The running back, their star running back, was injured too. So that full offense wasn't on display. But I think if you go get a kid like that too, that'd be solid for the Pats. You just need something to motivate these fans, Josh. They need something. They've been hurting for these past couple years with some of these skill position players. They need some. They need a big splash. They need a big playmaker. Get everyone back interested.
Couldn't agree with you anymore. And that maybe that guy is Marvin Harrison. I mean, this is a huge
Okay.
draft for the Patriots, Ben. They need to hit on this. They need to take that step in the right direction. As you mentioned, they're kind of lacking those skill players. I mean, especially offensively. They've got a lot of cap space coming up. It's a pretty it's a nice job. I mean, you got a nice early draft
Yeah.
pick. You've got a lot of cap space. You're in a winning culture within the last 30 years. I don't see why it wouldn't be a desirable destination. Another point here before we get to our wild card weekend, so we can dive really deep into that. Justin Fields, Ben, Green Bay, excuse me, the Bears sitting number one. Justin Fields, kind of a little cries to keep him in Chicago from some of the fans. The hashtag "We Want Fields" chants going on. I think not what I want. What I think is going to happen is I think they're going to move on from him. I think they're going to go Caleb Williams, and I think they trade him, whether it's Atlanta, whether it's I don't know who it would be. I think of Atlanta because of Pittsburgh would be funny. I just think of Atlanta because I know he has the ties to Georgia, and Atlanta kind of needs a quarterback. I mean, the Desmond Ritter project was fun, but again, he could fit over there. I think they got some nice young skill players. Match him up with Bijan Robinson. Hopefully, they can get Kyle Pitts going again. You've got Drake London. You go draft another wide receiver in the third or fourth round, second round maybe. Now you're talking, but. I think the Falcons is a desirable destination for a quarterback. I mean, you got Keep Heineke as a backup, Ritter too. I mean, I don't know. I think back to the moral of the story here. I think the Chicago Bears are going to keep that pick. They're gonna draft their guy Caleb Williams, and then when the sixth pick comes around or the eighth pick comes around, they're just going to take whatever's best available for them on the board. They'll have a quarterback and they'll have another top 10 pick. Ben, I think they
I
keep
think
Williams.
yeah, no, I think so. I agree on that one, but I think it's a little more interesting the other side, Josh. I like the Justin Fields destination one. I mean, I know you threw. I think that is the perfect one you threw out there. Atlanta, just I mean, in need of a quarterback, as you mentioned, Desmond Ritter project. Oh, listen, like I totally knocked the guy, great college quarterback, one of the best ever at Cincy. It's just he's just not panning out in the NFL. Just I mentioned earlier too, the Saints just blowing them out. The Falcons were in that for a little, and Desmond Ritter kind of took them out. So he's going to be a good backup. Can win you a couple games, with the starter injured or whatnot. But that project's over. But I think that'd be a really exciting offense. As outlined, I mean, Fields, Bijan, you got Drake London on the outside, Kyle Pitts if they ever decide to use him, and Tyler Algier. I mean, Arthur Smith said he's one of the best third down backs in the league. I mean, Arthur Blank, excuse me. So he's got some high praise. Tyler Algier had a nice little run at the a nice little I think it was like a 70-yard pass touch. So I mean, he's got some skills too. So you got some good skill position players in a division that's up for grabs that we saw throughout this whole year. So I think that'd be a great spot for him. But there's a bunch of other ones out there. Raiders possibly. Like I said, the Steelers. There's just teams throughout the whole league that could use a quarterback like Justin Fields, and I'd be willing to see the price. If you're going to lowball him, maybe for a second round pick, or you get a first for him. You never know right now, but I think they just gotta go Williams. I would like for them to build around Fields. I would love for them to just go draft Harrison, and they still got their pick. Their original picks. It's just the Panthers pick they're playing with, so they're really playing with house money. Go get a lineman for Fields, who's never really had a line at all in his career. So, but unfortunately, I think they're just going to go Williams, use his rookie contract to build around him, and go from there. Fields, unfortunately, I don't think he got a fair shot over there. So, Let's see. We go. Tony's back, and I saw. Sorry for Mitch. I didn't see that comment too from Mitch. Yes, Rob was acting like tissue paper this week. I assume that. That's how he's always acted. So I'm going to assume he was acting like that. And that's sorry, Tony. We told you, Cincy, they helped us out though. I mean, hey, the first time I think since 1935, all four teams in the division finished above 500. So Cincy helped us out with that, and he's on the Rams kick now. I'm pretty Tony's smart. Tony's a smart man. That's a smart pick. Definitely back in the Rams. We'll get into it a little later, but I mean the Lions ran into some injury problems this past week, Josh. I don't know, Dan Campbell playing, then we'll get into that too. But that's a great team to be back in right now, Tony. I would definitely be back in the Rams, one of the hottest teams right now, and they got one of the best paths in the playoffs. So definitely want to rep them right now.
Speaking of, let's get to it. I mean, we've been recapping, but now we're just this is what we get excited for. We're just going to dive right into some of the matchups. And we're going to start off with this one. We're going to talk about both sides of the ball here, talk about both teams. Very intriguing one here, Ben. I mean, two teams, Ben, that and I know some people were kind of high on the Browns earlier in the season with Deshaun Watson, of course. But two teams that, I mean, just even midway through the season, one of the most valuable positions in all of sports, the quarterback, your franchise guy, in Deshaun Watson goes down. I mean, it's a quarterback carousel. They fly in Joe Flacco. I mean, some guy posted this on Twitter, and it was true. Joe Flacco comes in. He lights it up for a bunch of weeks consecutively, wins them into the playoffs, and now they've got a playoff matchup. Then you look at the other side of this. The team hosting this game. They won the division. Nobody thought this would happen. We all thought it was the Jaguars for the taking. The Houston Texans, who had top two picks yet last year. I mean, they went out and they got Will Anderson. They got CJ Stroud as well. Both guys really just coming along in mass. I mean, both guys could win offensive and maybe defensive players of the year in their respective sides. This is a huge game. Saturday, 4:30 on NBC, Ben. I mean, you know I'm not missing 1 minute of playoff football this weekend. We got games on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. That Super Wild Card Monday. But here we go. This is a huge game. They met earlier in the season, Ben. The Browns kind of kicked the bag out of the Texans, but they weren't fully there yet. You know, the Texans have their concerns right now. They don't have Tank Dell. They're kind of banged up. I mean, besides, as James has mentioned to me, and he's talked about all the time, who's going to be that guy that steps up besides Nico Collins? Will it be Dalton Schultz, Noah Brown? Flip side here, is the magic of Joe Flacco going to run out? Ben, this is a huge, huge game. We don't have to do picks yet, but I just want you to dive into this one a little bit more.
Yeah,
What do you expect us to see?
I mean, like you said, I mean, and Chi coming in here with it. I think you both mentioned it. It's going to be one of the best games of the week. I'm really excited for this matchup. It's rookie quarterback, sensational. And as she pointed out again, hey, Stroud for rookie of the year. I think we could second that. That's a pretty obvious one right there. I mean, he's just been lighting it up. He's going to be, a franchise quarterback for them for many years. So. It's going against this defense that I haven't seen the defense put up these stats since that Baltimore Ravens defense that carried them all the way. Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, 2 championship, carried Trent Dilfer. I'm blanking on the year, but it doesn't matter. I don't really care about the Ravens. I don't want to give the Ravens too much credit, but I mean, everyone knows that defense. That was just a legendary defense. And I think the Browns, are capable of carrying a Joe Flacco based just on that defense. It's just I'm just kind of scared of that defense right now. I think he's gonna struggle well on this one, Josh. I think he's gonna struggle to come back down to earth. To that point that Jimmy said, once you take away Nico Collins, what are you really gonna do? Is to no fault of their own, Tank Dell going down to kind of limit them. They kind of get into that run game a little more with Singletary, so. But I think that Browns defense just kind of gonna get rid of that, kind of just extinguish that run game, force Stroud to just go throughout the air the whole game, and it's a really tough environment. Dog pound. They've been waiting for this one. I know they obviously got a win over us, but they went on a nice little. They gave the Chiefs a run for their money then in the divisional game. The next game after that, Steelers not beat down, but a pretty rough one. So I think here we go. People giving Puka, Puka over here. I know. I think I know who said that comment, Chi. But I'm gonna get off of that one. But I think yeah, this is gonna be one of the best games of the week, and Shroud. Shroud's gonna be in for a rough one. I'm just gonna say it right there. I think he's gonna be in a rough one. I don't like saying it. I don't like hyping up the Browns, but I think that defense is gonna be putting up some historic numbers in this playoffs, Josh.
I couldn't agree with you anymore there. I think, I mean, out of all the matchups, I think that this matchup is probably one of the closest there is this weekend. I mean, this could go either way. I mean, in this, it's kind of as much as James loves to say this is kind of the sentiment. You're probably going to hear me say this a lot throughout the show, and it's so true. The Texans are playing with house money. They're way ahead of schedule. They're kind of like they really remind me similar to the Jaguars of last year in the sense that, they really took the throne. The Texans came out of no. I mean, this was a team, I believe, projected probably, at max 7 wins, 6 wins. I mean, they win the division. They hang in there. They won what, Ben? I mean, let's look at the standings here. I think they've won 10 games.
Yeah, 10
They've
games,
got a
yeah.
home playoff game. I mean, they're giving that organization something to be excited about. I mean, since Bill O'Brien left in an absolute dumpster fire, now they, as Charlie O'Donnell said, I mean, they're knocking on the door. Their rookie quarterback here was knocking on the door for Offensive Player of the Year. He maybe could win it. I mean, Puka, of course, is still up there for grabs too. But this is a game, as you mentioned, where it's really going to lean on both of the quarterback play. I think the Texans have the better quarterback in CJ Stroud. I know Joe Flacco and the success, and he's won a championship. But at this very moment, I think the Texans are the better team. I think that they have the better quarterback, and they're also playing at home. Now, you factor in that defense. This Browns defense is probably one of the toughest defenses in the league. I know that the running back play of the Texans has been a little bit better. As you mentioned, Singletary kind of finally a team that's found some type of momentum with him. But again, I'm going to give you I'll give you my pick right now, but it's going to come down to a couple things here. Like I said, CJ Stroud is the better quarterback, and they're playing at home. I'm going to lean the Texans in this one. I'm going to say 27-23. As Ben mentioned, it's going to be a tough matchup for CJ Stroud, but I think at home, young rookie quarterback, kind of got all on the line here. I think they're going to figure it out. I think guys like Nico Collins are going to step up. Dalton Schultz as well. This is why they paid him to be here. Shout out to that defense as well. They've got Will Anderson. I'm blanking on a couple other guys too, but that's a stingy defense for the Texans there. And again, they're playing at home. I think they get it done. I like the Browns story, but at some point it's going to come to an end. I will say, though, Ben, this is probably one of the closest matchups, if not the closest matchup this weekend for me. I know people love that Lions-Rams game as well, so that'll be a close one too. But super, super close. I think it can go either way. But I'm going to go against the spread here. I got the Texans at home. The young rookie quarterback gets it done. And I think we're going to see some guys other than Nico Collins step up. And I think he's even going to step up. I'll say 100 receiving yard game for Nico Collins. And the Texans get it done at home.
I think the Texans perfect. I'm taking the Browns. Give me the Browns 24-21. I think it's going to be a little too much for the rookie. I think this defense is going to be a little too much for him right now. Josh just laid it all out there perfectly at home. They do have the better quarterback on paper. But I'm telling you, we've all seen playoff Joe before. We've all seen it. I didn't like seeing him out there. He just turns into a different player. I think he can really lead this team. He's really found a connection with Njoku. Cooper's been, that crazy last second to last game, so he's been finding his groove. That solid run game over there. They got a solid run game with Ford and Kareem Hunt. Just a nice little 1-2 punch there. It's nothing too special, nothing too shiny over there, but they can just get it done, run the rock. When Flacco's going, then they get the play action going. So I'm going to go Browns this one, 24-21. Josh mentioned going to be the closest one on the docket. And I'm looking at Chi's comments. Yeah, which team has the most to lose? I'm just going to steal your answer, Chi. That's an easy one. It's the Ravens, but with 1B, Cowboys right there as a 1B, right behind them. Just because the Cowboys always have the most to lose. we already saw some holes with the Niners. So I mean, Brock Purdy, everyone's already been poking the holes in them. But the Cowboys always have something to lose. Just being the Cowboys.
All eyes are on us. I mean, hey, look at that. We've got give
Not
us
bad.
some takes in the comments too. We've got Mitch. Love the predictions thus far. Before the end of the show, Josh, could you discuss Rob being tissue paper? I don't know. I don't know what's going on with you guys. We're all gonna come together here in the Roofs fan club, top tier, top tier group chat. I mean, it's just yeah, quick little promotion there for it.
No
Shout out to all
problem,
those
man.
guys. Shout out Mitch. Shout out Big Rich. Shout out Rob. Shout out Cam LeBlanc. Shout out
Robbie
Cam
Betts.
Monagle. Shout out Dylan. Shout out Mitch. Pretty sure that's everybody there. And yeah, as Charlie mentioned, which team has the most to lose? I think it is the Dallas Cowboys, Ben. I think you hit it on the nail there. I know like the Ravens and stuff like that. A lot of people that kind of echoing that same sentiment with Lamar Jackson. He can get it done in the Can he get it done in the postseason? Again, I'm not saying this because I'm biased. I think Dallas is under a very, very thin microscope. I think even if you make it to the NFC Championship, it's still settling short. It's Super Bowl or nothing, Ben, and it's hosting the Super Bowl or nothing. I think people like me are sick of it. They're tired. They want Dallas to at least make it. At least give me a little bit. At least give me a tiny bit of exposure. So, Charlie, I think it's
He wants it.
I know he wants Ravens, but I mean, he thinks Ravens. I mean, I would love to take the spotlight off Dallas, but I think it's Dallas. I mean, everybody runs their mouth about Dallas. We always hype it up. I think they've got the most to lose there. But we will move forward here. Another matchup. I mean, you talk about storylines here, Ben. We've got the Miami Dolphins who squandered a moment, could have had that number 2 seed. Yet they're traveling into Kansas City. Tyreek Hill playing up against his old former team. 2 speed teams here. Sort of. It'll be an interesting matchup, though. Kansas City favored by 4. Ben, what's your thoughts on this game overall here? I'm not going to get the predictions yet, but just what do you expect to see?
It's intriguing. I think you hit it right there, Josh. I mean, it's gonna be a speed fest. Kansas City doesn't have any player caliber of Tyreek Hill anymore, but they got a bunch of speedsters over there, and let's see if they can just catch a ball from Mahomes. Can someone make a play? Much like we were talking with CJ Stroud, can someone else besides him step up? Who's going to step up for the Chiefs in this playoffs besides Kelsey? We know Kelsey's going to be there. We see it season through season. We know he's his guy. He's going to come out. Uh, he's going to come out there and get it. But I want to see who else is going to step up for him. I want to see if anybody can step up for him. Isaiah Pacheco's had a good year, good run game, but are you going to rely on that in the playoffs? I don't know. Let's see who's going to be that person for Mahomes, and we just got to see Miami, how healthy they are. I think Tobias will point out, can they win the cold too? That's another good point. I'm not too confident on them, but I know they sat Waddle and most start out for a reason. Let's see if those guys come back healthy. That makes a big difference for them. It's just tough for Miami. Miami lost a lot of steam. Injuries kind of piling up for them, and they were just in control of that number 1 seed in the division for a while, Josh, throughout this whole year. It's kind of strange to see them right here now. They just kind of and they had that Bills game too. They had it just that punt return. I believe it was punt return, punt or kick or whatever kind of return it was, but Hardy just took that back. That was just a beautiful return and just took the whole momentum from that game. And I think Miami just needs we need to see how healthy they are coming into this, Josh, if they're going to pose a threat to the Chiefs, because the Chiefs, they're vulnerable this year. We've seen they're vulnerable, and players like Tyreek Hill, Waddle, Mostert, Achane can make them pay. So I mean, let's just see how healthy they are. Let's see how they can play in this cold. And I think they got a legit shot. I know Jimmy's backing them up this whole time, but I mean, if they've got this healthy roster, they've had this whole sort of season, if they can throw out there was a semblance of that and of any kind, I think they got a shot at this Chiefs team, because this isn't the normal Chiefs team we've seen this year, Josh. They've got some cracks in the armor. So I want to see this game. This is just another great game, as you mentioned. Tyreek Hill homecoming. So gotta be interesting. I'm leaning towards one team, but I'll let you dive into it. But I'm leaning towards one team right now.
It is definitely different than what we would expect maybe last year. I mean, this is the defending Super Bowl champions at home, favored by 4, Saturday night, big game. As you mentioned, the homecoming for Tyreek Hill, who wants to prove them wrong. You know he wants to have a big game. And I think you literally hit the nail right on the head. It all comes down to health. We see Tua play without guys like Mostert and Jalen Waddle. It's not so good. When Tua's got his whole on just the complete loaded offense there, it's all hands off now. Now I'm not calling out Tua. I'm not. This is a team fully loaded. When they've got all the guys healthy, they scare people. I mean, they're running around with Chase Claypool at like the 6th receiver. That's how loaded they are. And I know Chase Claypool's taking a step off, but still, again, my guy Cedric Wilson too. I mean, he's like the 4th guy. This Miami team is very dangerous when healthy, Ben. And as you mentioned, they rested some guys last week. You know, their defense slowly coming along. I still don't think it's as good as James thinks it is, but it's still a pretty top defense. You got Jalen Ramsey back, getting physical out there. Xavier Howard's beat up. But again, tough defense, tough team. And one thing that I will throw out, the only team that they've beaten above 500 is the Dallas Cowboys. So this is the test. There's no more after. There's no more reset buttons. It's win or go home. And on the flip side, the Kansas City Chiefs, all the spotlight's been on Taylor Swift. I'm going to be that guy. I know everybody's going to roll their eyes, but it's true. This isn't the same Kansas City Chiefs team of last year hosting the Lombardi Trophy. This is a team that's beaten down. They're battered. Travis Kelce's on his last limb. I mean, he's their best receiving option, and he's not even 100% right now. As you've mentioned, Isaiah Pacheco's been great, but again, he's not like a real game changer. He's great in goal line situations. He can kind of burst up the middle every once in a while, but he's not going to take over the game. He's not going to change the game. It all falls on Patrick Mahomes and those role players. Is Marvis Valdez-Scantling going to step up? Is Rashee Rice there? He's been huge for them. Huge. Could he continue? Is Justin Watson going to kind of, extend the chains for the Chiefs? This is a huge game, Ben, for both organizations. I think the Miami Dolphins made it to the wild card round last year, and they lost. They lost to the Bills in a very close game. I know they didn't have their guy Tua out there, but the clock's ticking there. People are starting to get antsy with Mike McDaniels. And again, the Chiefs, are we going to start talking about Super Bowl hangover? Are they going to be one and done? I know they don't have as much on the line here, but the media's talking, and as long as you got Taylor Swift on your sideline, you're going to have everybody talking about it. You're going to have everybody on your case, and that'll turn into a whole frenzy. But I'm going to go out and say it. I got the Kansas City Chiefs in this game. I think they're going to limp their way out of this. I don't trust Tua. If this game was in Miami, totally different situation. I'm taking Miami. I'm doing that. But again, I've seen Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs, and I'm not saying that this Chiefs team is going to make this deep run, because they have their issues. When I tell you they've got their issues. But again, I think that if there is a defense to match up with Miami, it is the Chiefs. If there is a team that knows Tyreek Hill very well, it is the Kansas City Chiefs. And I think they're going to do things to minimize him. Jalen Waddle's not 100%. Mostert, I think he's probably one of the biggest X factors for the Miami Dolphins. If he can take that pressure off of Tua, maybe they have a chance. I don't think that's going to happen, Ben. I like the Chiefs, like I said, at home. I think Travis Kelce's well rested. I think Patrick Mahomes and these guys are eager to at least make it out of the first round, make things a little interesting. They've got the home field advantage. That's kind of what I'm rolling with. I don't know if they're going to cover the spread, but I'm going to say I'm not confident about the score, but it's the first score that popped in my head. 23-17. The Kansas City Chiefs win at home, which would make them cover this spread, but I wouldn't bet on it. Close game. I do like the Chiefs to win. This could go, I lean like 55-45 Chiefs. I mean, it's really close, but I just didn't love what I saw out of Miami last week, even without some of their key players.
It was kind of groundbreaking, Rob. I think Josh's answer was a little groundbreaking. I didn't know where he was going to go with it. I thought he was going to lean Dolphins. So I'm agreeing with him. Me and Josh in agreement. I'm taking the Chiefs. You got to take the Chiefs in Arrowhead. It's like you said, if it was in Miami,
This
totally different.
surprised me, Ben. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I did not see this
No,
coming.
no. Listen, I was thinking about it. I was surprised too. I was surprised. I thought you were going to take the Dolphins. I thought Jimmy convinced you. I know Jimmy's a big Dolphins advocate right here. As you point out, I think it was just a great point right there. If it's in Miami, totally different game. I'm taking Miami. Just with all the challenges we've seen from the Chiefs this year, but I think Arrowhead gets them straight. Just this Dolphins team can't play in the cold. Unfortunately, they just don't like it. I think some of those injuries are going to come back and just prevent them from being this, fully explosive offense that we've seen throughout this year. So I think Chiefs take advantage of that. Get a much needed win. But like you said, they're going to limp out of it, and I don't think they're going to go too far after they get out of this round, Josh. Unfortunately, this year for Chiefs fans. So it's a little teaser for next week if they do get out. But I got them. I'll say 2017. I like that 23-17 one, but we'll go 2017. Could see it in that ballpark. It's going to be one possession game. I think the Dolphins cover, but I think the Chiefs just get away late and just get a nice little field goal. I don't know if it's a game winner or not. I think it's close to the end, but just probably done with that one. Someone's saying the stream's messed up, but I don't think so. I think it's all right.
That's interesting. Let's see. Where did you see the stream messed up?
So I just got a text, but it's
Oh,
probably
okay.
just it's probably nothing. We're probably good. We're still rolling on my end, so
Same
uh,
here. Yeah, give us a little update, Rob, or
if
whoever's
anybody,
watching, if so. But yeah, we're both going Chiefs there. Clean sweep.
it's easy.
It could be. We're not saying it's going to be a sweep, but that could be a close game. However, we're going to get to this game that I know everybody's going to be wanting to talk about. The first game on Sunday. That's the Dallas Cowboys versus the Packers. This is a 4:30 game. I'm pretty sure this is the first game on Sunday. I could be wrong on that one, but let me just make sure. No,
I
it's
believe
not
we're the
actually.
first game. We're
It's
the first
not.
game.
All right. Well, I got
Sunday.
it
That's
came
Sunday
up
game.
because I have the Cowboys as my favorite team. I guess we'll go with this one first.
I'll go with this one. This is an easy one for me on this.
I think it's pretty easy for me too. This is a game where we've got reunion written all over it. The Packers. This has got rivalry written all over it. They have owned us. They're 2-0 against us in recent history. They've stolen our hearts multiple times. But I think this is the reunion. Mike McCarthy wanting to play against his old team. Dak Prescott's got something to say. And like he said, they asked him why he wasn't wearing an NFC East hat. He said, I'm looking for something a little bigger than that. Loved that response out of my quarterback. But this is an interesting game, Ben. I know I've kind of gone on here and I've said, this is the team I'd want. I want to play at home. I'm not straying away from that. But again, you look at this Packers team, Jordan Love, number 2, right behind Dak Prescott in passing touchdowns thrown, over 4,000 yards, really was able to kind of take that next leap. I mean, this is a team that we thought was going to have their growing pains. First season under helm, Jordan Love gets it done. Matt LaFleur, I mean, his stats, his wins are great. I know he had Aaron Rodgers and now Jordan Love. He looks to be good with him. But still, this is a tough, young Packers team. Got a nice little defense there with Rashawn Gary, Jair Alexander. I know they don't have Rasul Douglas, but they've got some other studs over there. I think I like the Packers to keep this close a little early. Aaron Jones, if they can lean on those dual backs, kind of Dallas's Achilles heel is the run game. If they can kind of open up the running game, open up some play action passes, Dallas could have fits down the line. But I don't think that's going to happen, Ben. We've got some more games to get to, so I'm going to keep this as short as I can. The cheeseheads in James, who's self-proclaiming himself as a cheesehead now because he hates the Cowboys, is going to be pretty upset. It's a 7.5-point spread. I think the Dallas Cowboys cover that. You never know. It could be close. But I'm going to say 30-20. I think Dallas at home is a different beast, Ben. They know what they're playing for. Gilmore's going to be back and ready. We've got Tyler Smith, who I know he has the torn plantar fasciitis, the thing in his foot. But that was the best case scenario. This line's going to be nice and healthy. Dak looked great last week. They are a different team at home, and they're going to show you that. I like this Packers story. I think it's nice. Shout out Jason Fusco coming in saying go Dolphins, go Pittsburgh. But
Let's go. Let's go. I like
I
this
like the
one.
Cowboys in this one at home. They're gonna go 9-0 at home, Ben. We're just different team. This was in Lambeau, be a little more difficult. Still would lean Cowboys, but at home, Packers are a young team. It's fun. Dallas gets out of this one with a win, and they cover the spread.
Yeah, like so we got some couple more interesting games. Not saying this one's not too interesting, but I think Josh hit it right there. The spread's there for a reason. I think they cover that. I see it around. I'll go. I'll go 34-20. I'll go 34-20. I think this offense is really kicking right now. I mean, there's just, as Josh said, this is the main point from Josh's argument right there. They're just a different team at home. They're just a way different team. That's why the number 2 seed was so important to them. That's why they put everything, that's why they played all those stars against the Commanders and everything. That's why they were still playing everybody and wanted to get a nice little tune-up as well. But, it still meant something to them. They want that to say they needed it, and they got it. The Eagles helping them out too just collapsed, and I don't know what's up with the Eagles right now. I said last week they were going to be done if they lost to the Giants, so yikes. But Cowboys, they're going to win this one. I'll probably go 34-20. Cowboys win this one easy. No offense, Packers. Sorry.
I like that 34-20. Ben, I'm gonna leave this to you. This is a game where I want you to start us off with this one. This is your team.
We know where it is.
Let's see it. They got in. They got into the dance, and Mason Rudolph again.
I can't believe it, Josh. It's just more proud of this team at this point, Josh. It's just more of a morality thing with them. Because I don't know if the fandom was at a pretty low point after losing to the Cardinals and Pats. Listen, the Colts loss was pretty tough too, since we were up 10-0. But those Pats Cardinals losses, we were at 84% chance to make the playoffs and dropped all the way to like 13 and 19 range. So that was pretty tough moment right there. But Mason turned everything around, Josh. This is obviously, any given Sunday, yada yada yada. But TJ Watt being out is kind of tough right now. That was kind of just a killer for us, just killing that Ravens game vibe when he got out. So I think this is more so just a test what we're going to do with Rudolph, Josh. Let's see if he can perform. If he can perform and keep us in this game, make it competitive and not get spanked like we've seen this Bills team spank us with Kenny Pickett, then I'm willing to give this guy a chance. He's never really got a fair shot over here. We all know the Myles Garrett drama. We all know that drama went over there, and both sides. Who knows what he said? But I think I think he's learned from that incident. I think he's grown. He's got the respect of this team right now. I think he's got the respect of Pickens and Deontay and some of these other wide receivers. The stats he's putting up. I hadn't seen this team put up 30 points in a couple of years. He did it back-to-back weeks. Joe Flacco was beating us in 6 games. For 2 years of passing records for us. He was putting up better stats than we had in 2 years with Pickett and Mitch. So it was just a breath of fresh air with Mason. It's nice to see this offense clicking again, seeing us throw actual deep balls. A 74-yard touchdown to Deontay Johnson. I hadn't seen that in a while. So we're just proud of the team, Josh. We're proud of the team. They got out of that sort of bad position, and we made it to the dance. So like I said, you never know what's going to happen. Hey, we beat this team before, but that was when TJ Watt was making some pretty incredible plays for us. I got the Bills in this one, Josh. I'm just gonna let everybody know it's gonna be the Bills winning. Yeah, listen. I just love to get to watch the team again for one more week. I love being able to watch them in the playoffs, but this Bills team, and they're vulnerable too. They're another team just kind of, they didn't look too good in that Dolphins game. I know they turned it on, but that, kickoff return, whatever, kickoff punt, whatever it is, I forget specifically, turned it around for them, really took the momentum. So, the Bills are vulnerable. We've seen them vulnerable throughout this whole year. No TJ Watt's you can't sell me on that. If TJ Watt was here, totally different. I give him a shot. But no TJ Watt, I'm sorry, Bills are gonna take this one. I'll have the Steelers cover just for a fan's sake, but But thank you, punt return, on that Hardy touchdown. So I got the Bills covering. I mean the Steelers covering. Excuse me. I don't want to give a score, Josh, but I don't want to go too bad. But Steelers cover. Take that minus +10.
We've got a couple comments here. We've got Jason Fusco. He is a Steelers fan. We've got Nick DeVosta also in this chat here. If you can see on the live chat, he is a Steelers fan as well. Nick DeVosta, Steelers win. It's on to Baltimore. And we've got Jason Fusco coming in out of YouTube. Thanks for joining us too. Josh Allen going to throw a bunch of picks. All our safeties are going to eat up. So he's got some faith here. And he was saying not one channel has the Steelers winning. Maybe it's some of the viewers in this comment section. It's I will say, and I'm not going to stray away from this one, it's going to be close to start. The Steelers are going to be in it. I already know how the dice is going to roll. It's going to be a close game. I'll say there's a potential Steelers even come out opening drive or early in the games, go up 7-3 or something, some weird thing with the Bills where the offense stalls out. It's 7-3. I see something with 7-3 at the end of the first quarter in my mind. I think that's going to happen. It's going to be a low-scoring affair, kind of to Jason's point and to your point as well. This Bills defense has been a little bit more coached up and better. Hopefully having, as Nick DeVossa just commented too, hopefully having Minkah back. You know I'm the biggest Minkah supporter there is. Having him back there with Patrick Peterson can kind of help things out. I think the Bills will win this because they're at home. They've got way more to fight for. But I will say it will make for an interesting storyline if Mason Rudolph can go into Buffalo and rattle the cages a little bit. I kind of like an oddly low score in this one. I think the Steelers aren't going to cover the spread. I think that they win 17-10. It's kind of a weird score here, but I think that they win 17-10. Close game, defensive battle. I don't know what the weather's going to be, but that could get in the way. I like Josh Allen, though. I think he's going to make enough plays to move forward. Diggs is kind of banged up, so I don't think... It's not going to be a shootout. It's not going to be this crazy high score. Watch me be completely wrong, but I like the Bills in this one, and I'm sorry, Jason. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to those Steelers fans.
Sorry, Jason. Sorry, Jason. It's tough, Josh. But we can't take the Steelers right here. Maybe I'll throw a little bet on them just for fans' sake, but can't take them.
We're moving on to the next matchup here. This is a big one. This is a Sunday night. Huge stuff on the line here. This is an 8 o'clock NBC game. We've got Jared Goff coming back. I mean, he's going to be at home, so he's not going anywhere. But the Rams versus Jared Goff, his former team. Then you've got Matthew Stafford playing against his former team of the Detroit Lions. Plenty at stake. Everybody's been huge on this Rams team. It is a 3-point favorite here for the Lions. Close matchup. And I'm going to keep it short here. I'm going to keep it sweet because we're running out of time. I think the Detroit Lions are going to win this game, even without Sam Laporta. I know, a little bit of an upset. I'm a little bit of a shocker here. It feels like America's kind of on the Rams' side here. I think that the Lions are going to win. It's a reunion game here, as Nick mentioned. I think they've got more to kind of prove here. I like the Rams. I think that they're a tough team. I think it's going to be a very, very close game. I'm going to say Lions win 30-27. I think Dan Campbell gets it. Not Dan Campbell. Yeah, Dan Campbell gets his win. I'm getting confused with Dan Quinn there. I think that they get their win here. Detroit at home. I don't know. Everybody's in on the Rams here. I'm going on the opposite side. I like Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's going to have a big game. I like the Lions in this 30-27.
That shocked me. I thought he was going Rams for sure on that one because I'm going Rams. I'm going to go Rams. Like you said, we're running short of time. I don't want to get to the Eagles. The Eagles are just a hot mess. I want to give them a couple minutes on this one. But we discussed this one too a little throughout the show. I mean, going to be one of the best games on the docket. I love the time slot for it. Reunion for Stafford coming back to Detroit. Gave them so many years. Finally got a ring in LA. But I think I think unfortunately those injuries bought Dan, just hurt Dan Campbell in the end. He thought it was going to be good to motivate them and everything. Nice little tune-up game for them. But I mean, losing Laporta, Khalif Raymond, just a couple important parts of that offense. I just don't think it worked out for him. I think he was just a little too overconfident, just like going for it against the Cowboys 3 straight times. Listen, I love that mantra and bravado, but I mean, sometimes it just doesn't work out. Sometimes you got to play it smarter, and they really didn't have anything to gain in that Vikings game, and you end up losing. Talk about rookie of the years too. I mean, another rookie of the year candidate in Sam Laporta. I mean, he's having an outstanding year and one of the top offensive contributors for him. So you lose that person. Uh, I just think the injuries just are going to be too much for him. Stafford got to be able to sit that last week. That whole team got a little more rest. Cooper and Puka just turned into a nice little 1-2 punch. Kyron Williams getting into his own over there. So I got the Rams. He said 30-27. I'll go 27-24. Going to be a high scoring game, one of the best on the docket. But I'm going to go Rams, Josh. Give me the upset.
Wow, and it almost like doesn't feel like an upset to
I
me.
know,
I don't know.
it's
I
strange.
it's weird here. We've got high scoring game for sure from Jason. We've got Robin here. We've got Patrick Ford. Thank you for joining, man. I'm putting my mortgage on Steelers +10. Also,
Okay.
Bills cover. I don't think so. I don't think that they're gonna cover. Will you see me in studio Friday? Probably not. Got some things to figure out there with that. So unfortunately, I will not. Thank you for stopping in, though, Patrick. I will be watching the show tomorrow.
Patrick.
Just want to throw that one out there. Definitely will. Love the stuff going on. But aside from that, let's get to the last game here. We're going to Tampa. This is a huge, huge game here. I mean, I think that this is a lot closer than people think. We've got Jason, 1,000 on the Steelers. Jason, come join us again next week, man. Hop back in. Tuesdays, 7 p.m.
Don't throw 1,000 down. Don't throw 1,000.
Don't put 1,000 on it. I mean, he's a Steelers
Unless
fan.
you can afford it.
I mean,
Unless you can afford it. I mean,
if you can afford
it, bro, do whatever.
why not? But Jason, another Steelers fan in here. I want to see your take on this one. Miss you too, Pat Ford. Thank you for hopping in. Big game. Monday night. Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles. They're favored here on the road. They somehow lose 5 of their last 6. They're traveling into Tampa Bay. 8:15. This is a Monday game. I'm going to keep it short and sweet. I like what Baker in this Bucs team has been able to do. They've been able to muster up some noise, make things a little interesting in the really, really bad NFC South. But as wild as it sounds, I'm a huge Jalen Hurts fan. They're not going to lose this game. I was kind of talking to James the other day, and I'm like, imagine the Bucs do win this one. Imagine the blowback, all this stuff that they're going to hear. I think that the Eagles are going to win this game. They're going to handle business. They've lost way too many games. I think they have the better quarterback. They've got the better team. They're more primed. I'm not just saying this for the Cowboys' sake. I mean, I would rather somehow play. I don't want to see the Eagles. I mean, they're a difficult team. But I think they're going to figure this out. A.J. Brown and company, Jalen Hurts, I know he had that banged up finger. He's going to be okay. Jason getting to that point as well. I like the Eagles in this one. 30 feels like a lot. I'm going to say 24-20. Close game. Philly covers that spread of 3. They went on the road. I think Jalen Hurts is the better quarterback. I like what I've seen out of him this season. I know everybody's kind of on his case, but he's the franchise guy there. He's better than Baker Mayfield. I think it's going to kind of unravel. I like the Eagles in this one, surprisingly. But yeah, that's kind of what I think there, Ben, for that.
Uh-oh. I thought he was for sure going Bucks because I'm going Bucks. I'm taking the Bucks. I'm going to take the stamp.
Wow.
I'm taking the stamp. I just don't like. I got to go on my morals, Josh. I got to go with what I said last week. I said if they lost to the Giants, it's over. They're not winning a game in the playoffs.
It's over.
And they lost to the Giants. I wasn't expecting that at all. Shout out to Saquon. Saquon ran a little wild, but I think they're just, obviously A.J. Brown got a little banged up too. You mentioned the finger of Hurts. Jason mentioned that as well. Good points for both of you on that. Baker got a little banged up too, but I mean, this Tampa team is just, I don't know. There's just something. I mean, you got weapons on the outside. We know Philly struggled in the secondary. I know Slade's coming back, but how much is that going to help Mike Evans? Chris Godwin's coming into the form late. Kate Otton's not bad, not bad. A little tight end over there, and Rashad White's having emerging as one of the top backs in the league. He can catch the ball as well at the backfield. So, uh, the Eagles, like I said, I think last week as well. It feels like Eagles Bucks are been played like 2 straight years or 3 straight years in the wild card. Eagles have always had their number. I feel like I think the Eagles are going to lose this one. I think the Bucks are going to get some revenge. You know, Jay come in there, Texans with the sleeper pick. Hey, there we go. Those
I like it. I like seeing
the
this
one
one.
with Josh and Jake on that one. I'm on the Browns train, but uh, let's bring that one up. I'll let Josh
Here
answer
we
that one
go.
after
Here
too.
we
But
go.
I'm going to take the
They did.
Bucks.
They did.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Bucks. I'll take them 21-20. Close game.
Burner
Uh,
Ben, huh?
yeah, I think it's I think it's gonna be a close one. The great game between these two, but I think just the Eagles are a little too banged up right now, and I don't know what's going on with them. I just think it's just not their year. They've had compiled a couple great years in a row. I think they're just gonna have to take a step back this year. It's just you can't win them all. I think the Bucks are gonna take this one.
Wow, Ben was the one to do it, not me. I mean, I just gut reaction. I think Steelers win this one. Again, want to
Steelers,
thank. I mean, not Steelers. I'm sorry.
I wish,
Eagles,
I wish.
Eagles. I'm reading over. I'm reading Jason over here. Jason, the Steelers fan.
Shout out Jason.
Yeah, shout out Jason, the new commenter
And Pat.
here joining, and Pat. Thank you, Pat.
Pat.
Pat Ford for joining us here of the KMS universe. But again, just want to say thank you to everybody for tuning in. Huge weekend. Super wild card. I've got Texans. I've got Cowboys. I've got Eagles winning this weekend. I've got the Lions. I've got Chiefs. I've got Bills. Sorry for Ben here for that one. I'm going to say it here. Dallas, win convincingly. I don't need a nail biter. I need you to win convincingly. Just win the damn game. Let's move on. Let's move on to the next round. But I just want to say thank you to everybody for tuning in. And how about them Cowboys?
Here we go. He's always going to slip that in. It's a great one, too. I just want to thank everyone, as always. Great little chat from everybody. Jason, Pat, shout out to them. Haven't heard from them, so always great to hear from those guys. Get some new blood in here. Hey, come join us anytime. Jay coming in there late. Mitch, shout out, and Robbie Betts always finding a way as always. We love Rob over here. But yeah, I got Browns, Rams. Let's go Cowboys. Unfortunately, Bills, Bucks. I'm blank on the last one. I don't know who I forgot, but it doesn't really matter. We'll post the picks later. And I'll end with this, Josh. It's a tough one. I don't know if I should say it together, but let's go Cowboys and Steelers.